Hello everyone, this is the iRacing Guys Suzuka tutorial for the Skip Barber car. A couple quick tips for this track. There are a lot of fast corners, which means you have to be really smooth, and it's really helpful to use a lot of throttle on braking when entering fast corners to keep the back end in check. Late apexes are almost everywhere in this track. Some of the things that you can look for are little green end markers to the curbing. I use those a lot. You can be really aggressive on the curbs too, and rhythm is really important, especially through the first corner, finding your own rhythm, what you feel comfortable with. Also, there are about 3 really important corners for a fast lap, and I'll explain those as we go. We've got a really fast corner for turn 1. I use the access lane here on the left for some reference. I do a really hard brake. I even think about a video of Senna driving this track in an NSX. He locks like all 4 up going into this corner. I always try to think of braking as hard as I can, just like he did. I use a really smooth turn in, and get on the gas as early as possible to extract as much as I can out of this corner in terms of time. Turn 2 is a really late apex, so as you can see here, I shoot for the outside curb, the very end of the outside curb, and I try to get my wheels as straight as I can when I'm braking, come down 1 or 2 gears. I use second in this video, I use third sometimes, depending on how good I'm feeling about the front end of the car. I try to pick up the very end of the curb for the apex, and there's a little green spot. I try to hit that every lap. Entering turn 3 and 4, the S's section, what I'm trying to do here is late apex and get my car on the right rhythm. That's what I'm really focusing on here. I'm not trying to brake really late or anything like that. I'm trying to find a good rhythm with the track. And to do that, I'm just scrubbing the brakes on to move the weight forward and then to the right wheel that I want the weight on at each moment. I don't hard brake. I just want to be smooth and consistent through this section and keep my line nice and tight, especially on the exits. For turn 5, I'm not too worried about a late apex here. I'm okay with somewhere in the middle. I want to set it up so that I'm mid to right track coming out of the S's so that I can get as much on the throttle as early as I can because it's uphill here. Turn 6 is our first really important corner of this track. What I mean here is I want to have the best possible exit in the right spot for this corner. It's a little off camber and you get a crest just as you're trying to find the apex. So I'm trying to be really smooth on the throttle through here. As you can see, I go really late in the braking because I'm apexing so late. I want to try to keep on the throttle as long as humanly possible. And I try to exit the corner on the very far right side, which will lead me onto actually a really long straight after I go through the Dunlop corner. For turn 7, I want to get on the throttle as early as possible up here. I will need to lift to get the nose in and get a nice tight apex fairly early, and I want to run up the inside curb, but what I'm waiting for is to see the red cones on the outside of the exit. So I try to pick those up as early as I can. I don't get on the throttle until I can see them because they're really the outside of the track, and as you can see, I get really close to them sometimes, and it's all about managing the front end through here for me. For turn 8 or Digner 1, I give a really hard and fast brake application. I turn in really aggressively and sort of aim for the curb on the inside. I find you can take a lot of curb here and it doesn't upset the car at all. And get on the throttle as early as possible again, just to extract as much power as I can to Digner 2. For turn 9 or Degner 2, I give another really hard brake, pretty fast. I don't want to stay on the brakes too long here. I don't want to carry my brake to the apex or anything like that. I want to get back on the throttle early because there's a lot of camber at the apex here and a lot of runoff area. You can see me use as much as I can under the bridge. It seems like the track goes on forever and you won't get a +1. So be really aggressive on the curbing on the inside too if you want. Turn 10 isn't much of a corner, it just sets you up for a line into the hairpin. Turn 11, the hairpin, is a really important corner, our second one. I do a nice late right side entry, looking for a late apex, and I'm trying to be really smooth on the throttle on exit. But throughout the corner, I'm concentrating on one smooth turn in and one smooth turn out with my hands. I don't want to be fighting the car, which will lose my momentum for the long straight all the way to the spoon corner. Turn 12 is mainly about line. Just keep your eyes up, and I stay in 4th here because I find the entry into spoon a lot easier from 4th and 5th. Turn 13, the famous spoon corner. It's also our last important corner. I give a hard brake for the entry and get early on the first apex. I drop down 1 gear and get on the throttle fairly aggressively, and I'm looking for the outside curbing again, just like turn 1. I use the end of the curb on the right as a reference for turning in for the second apex. I use lots of throttle on for the second apex, and there's a crest and it falls away here, and you can't really see your exit. So it might take a few laps to sort of imprint into your mind where that exit is. And when you do get it, really try to focus on getting on the throttle as early as possible, as that will carry you speed a long way up a long hill, and you're getting ready for the 130R. The also very famous turn 14 or 130R. For me in the Skippy, it's all about less is more. I give a quick brake, a smooth turn in, and I try to get my eyes up for the exit as early as possible. I want to be doing as little with the car here as possible. Any sort of oversteer at this kind of speed can be the end of your race or qualifying or whatever you're doing. It's really difficult. The turn 15 and 16 chicane is kind of a weird entry for me. I usually like to use the outside of the corner to gauge how straight I am for braking, but for here it curves in quite a bit. So what I try to do is I line my car up with the very left side cone, and I aim for it as I come down and brake just after or around the 100 marker. The braking around here I find really tricky. It's like it has less grip than the rest of the track. It's all about getting to the first apex for me. I can be really aggressive on the curbs though, and I try to get on the throttle earlier than the turn 16 apex. But I do watch for oversteer because I just don't want to be spinning up one wheel here. Let's do a full lap together. So coming into turn 1, I'm thinking about keeping my speed up. Lots of throttle on braking there. Nice late apex, trying to do as little with the steering here as possible. Alright, I'm looking far ahead right now, trying to pick up my exits, trying to feel what the car is doing through here, not trying to hustle it on the exits too much as I don't want to be out of position. Go nice and deep here. Trying to focus all on no oversteer, no understeer up the hill. I think I get really close, yeah, really close to the outside there. Hard brake, fairly aggressive. I didn't get a whole lot of curb there, but that's alright, kept good speed. Really wide out onto the exit of Degner 2. In a qualifying session, I take the right line, as you see here. In the race, with someone following me, I might go a little bit more conservative to the left because I don't want to get Kobayashi down the inside. Now I'm just trying to look as far down the road as I can. I stay in 4th gear. I've tried it both ways. Coming down into 3rd for some reason into the fast entry of Spoon, I feel like I'm doing too much with the car. Trying to be really, really smooth on my hands. I pick up a really good apex there, so it allows me to get on the throttle really early. The straight's fairly boring through here. Not really doing a whole lot. It's uphill, it's slow. The car is slow. Getting ready for the 130R. I turn in, get a little oversteer, scare myself, stay away from the curb. Looking far away, line up with that cone, take a bunch of curb, take another bunch of curb, watch for inside wheel spin. Get a little bit there, that's alright. And across the line. The next video is Mid-Ohio. I hope you guys are keeping up with the channel, and please subscribe.